Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Friday. It's Friday. It's not Wednesday, it's Friday. Welcome back to Fridays. Hopefully everyone will find me. Having done Wednesdays for some time now, I had to swap because of, teenager, college, that stuff, parental stuff. So I was now able to move back to Fridays should I wish. So I ran a poll and it was pretty much unanimous that I moved back to Fridays. So here I am. Friday mornings from here on in to get your weekend started. Yeah, I know we've got a whole day to work yet before the weekend, but you know what I mean. So if you're watching, pop a hello in the comments as always. Good evening, Sephora. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Janet. YouTube lags. Yeah, there's a bit of a lag on all of it. I must remember not to start talking straight away. Be patient. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Susan from a wet Sussex. Yep, wet here too. Love the hair. Thank you. It's just up out of the way. Good morning, Xenia. Welcome back. Good morning, Jay. Yes, and Sue back as well. Yeah, it's lovely to see familiar names on there. Susan, pleased to be back on a Friday, like meeting up with old friends. Absolutely. Excuse me, impatient. I'm better than I used to be. Or something. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Mark. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Friday morning. Good morning, Jalala. It is raining here in Hampshire today. Summer, where are you? Thankfully, it wasn't raining last week because myself, Heather, and Ness were in a field. We went to the fabulous pagan tribal gathering where we met some of you lovely people, which was fabulous. For the first time ever, we had a trader's tent. Huge, big thank you to David in particular for literally putting up the tent for us, and to Rick for lending us tent pegs and strappy things that we didn't have that stopped our tent from blowing away. So big thanks to you guys. And thank you to all the organisers of Pagan Tribal. I don't think everyone appreciates just how much work goes on behind the scenes before, during, and even after. A huge amount of work. Hats off to you guys. It was a fabulous week. We drummed, we chatted to people, we sold stuff, we did some readings, more on the readings to come. Heather was reading the bones, Ness was reading the runes, and I was chipping in with my tarot. We will be offering that as a service in the very near future. So fantastic few days in the sunshine. Not like today. Good morning, Karen. Tent pegs. Yeah, we didn't have any tent pegs, Sephora. We were so unprepared. Sue, everything in the background since I last saw you. Oh, I'm in a different place. I'm upstairs in a different side of the room. Because we opened the Kitchen Witch online shop, my spare bedroom had to turn into a stock room, basically. So I'm in the corner, in the naughty corner. Yeah. Good morning, Pia. Thank you so much for last week. Pagan Tribal, just stunning. Absolutely stunning. We had such a laugh. Good morning, Lucy. Yeah, good to see you last week too. I am going to be talking about tree magic today, which was one of the talks that I did last week. Aided and abetted by Heather because she reads the so she's not here today. I should have got her on, shouldn't I? Yeah, she's far more knowledgeable about that than I am. But we're going to talk about trees today. Xenia, hope I can afford Pagan Travel next year. It must have been amazing. Missed my pagan family. It is also one of the most reasonable ones as well. But yes, it was all good fun. Zephora, love the yellow tent. Yes. It was a brilliant colour, but the bees did get confused. We had quite a lot of bees inside the tent and a lot of spiders. Yeah, but it was good fun. It was fab to have a tent. We were in the middle of it, so people sort of called past and had a chat. It's all good. All good. All good. Maria, never been to Pagan Tribal. If there's a B&B, yes, there is a B&B, not too far. Not too far. I think it's a Green King. Actually, Heather and I had dinner in there on the Wednesday. Very nice food. Yeah, I don't do camping either, Maria. So today is all about trees. Working with trees, working magic with trees. So if there are any particular ways you work with parts of the tree in your magic, are there any particular trees that you are drawn to that you would like to know magical properties of, or that you specifically work with for particular reasons? Pop it in the comments and we'll see where it takes us. Jalala, love trees. They are my thing. Willow, alder and elder are my soul trees to date. Fabulous. I like willow. I like working with willow for emotions. I think that's a beautiful tree. There we go. Thank you, Pia. Miller's Arms in Upton is the closest B&B for Pagan Tribal Gathering. Plenty of room there and a very nice restaurant. Sue, love trees. Anyway, so I'll be honest. Thank you for my hair. This bit, this bit isn't mine. But thank you. Yes, the Miller's Arms. If you're thinking about Pagan Tribal Gathering, the Miller's Arms B&B is it's a couple of minutes drive in the car. It's 20-25 minutes walk. Very nice place. Yes, nice food. Had a nice pie. Anyway. Yeah, we did a couple of talks, did a witches panel, which was interesting as well. It's all good. It's all good. Right, let's get on with these. Good morning, David. Coffee time. You haven't had my coffee yet. Xenia loves trees, oaks, fir, pine, willow, silver birch. Let's do Maria's first. Here we go. Silver birch. Birch for me is the beginnings tree. It is one of the trees that anyone that was settling would plant birch trees because they grow quickly and they form wood for various purposes quite quickly. Good morning, Kerry. Lovely to see you and Ebony too. Oh, there were so many doggies. And they were little dachshunds. Fergus. I fell in love with Fergus. He was a little tiny miniature dachshund and he was like a bouncy ball on the end of a piece of elastic. He was fabulous. Anyway. Good morning, Demia. I'm not on the wrong day. I've moved back to Fridays. So it'll be on Fridays from here on in. Good morning, Jane. Sending off a bit of homework. Very busy day today. Busy, always busy. Jalala, love the created an quest for Fantasy Fair. Big virtual event I was at work for. Perfect. The hand.
Uh-oh. There it is. Hope it's not cold. He's been up here since Wednesday waiting.
That's it now. Yes, last week I had to have my cups of tea made on a camping stove, but Heather was a brilliant tea lady. It's gonna kill me for that. It was good. It's all good. Ebony came third in the dog competition. They're brilliant. There was a dog show competition thing. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's get this. We'll come to birch in a second. Am I right in saying you can write sigils and spells on silver birch bark? Yes. Silver birch bark is really good for writing on. Don't peel it off the tree, but you will find that bits fall off and you can use it for writing petitions on. It's absolutely brilliant for that. I guess that's a good way to start, actually. What parts of the tree do you use for magic and how can you use them? So bark, writing petitions, also offering dishes. If you find a piece of fallen bark, they make very good offering dishes as well. Leaves are probably one of the things I work with most from trees. Small ones you can write petitions on. Sharpies write really well on leaves. You can write a word on your leaf and then send it off to the wind, bury it, burn it. You can write longer petitions on the big leaves. Do the same, send them off to the wind, bury them, burn them. Big leaves make really good spell pouches. So you can write your petition inside them, put your ingredients in, fold them up, tie them with a bit of twine, pop them in the fire or bury them. Perfect for doing that with. If you're out and about and you pick up a leaf and you don't have a pen or anything, hold the leaf in your hand, tell it your wish, your hope, your desire, and then send it off to the winds. Leaves, brilliant for working magic with. You can also, the smaller leaves can be melted onto candles to add the energy of the tree. They can be dried and added to incense blends. Twigs, you can make them into charms. You can chop them up into incense blends, make them into wands. Bigger twigs you can make into staffs. Then you've got the nuts and the seeds, so acorns, conkers, all types of seeds and berries from the trees. Seeds for me, just seeds in general, are all about fertility, about growth, about new life. But each tree and each type of seed will obviously have its own properties. But seeds in general for me are growth and new beginnings, things like that. They can all be added to spell pouches. They can be made into charms. The berries from trees can be dried and strung onto thread or added to incense blends. I've even got a wand made from the root of a yew tree, which is very powerful. Obviously, you don't want to be digging up the roots of the tree. But if a tree has fallen over, try and get hold of some of the roots because there's some real powerful magic in there. Flowers, some trees have blossom. That works very well in spells. You can dry it, put it in incense blends, put it in the spell pouches. Any number of things you can do with parts of the tree. If anyone's got any other things that they do, pop them in the comments and we will cover them. So let's have a look at birch for Maria. As I say, I think for me it is a new beginnings tree. It is that starting point for magic. It is new beginnings. I think it also carries the energy of changes with it as well, dealing with changes. It also helps to release your fears. It gives you that bit of courage boost to help you release your fears and deal with whatever challenges have come your way. Also, birch is very good for purification and cleansing. Historically, birch twigs were used to beat out negative energy. Could leave that one with you. Do with it as you will. Tie a bundle of birch twigs together and you can make yourself a cleansing besom broom to clear and cleanse your home, making way for new beginnings. You've got to have a clear out before new stuff can come in. So cleansing and clearing with birch so that all the good new stuff can come in. It's also got a fertility energy to it as well. So use any parts of the birch tree for your fertility workings. It also carries a little bit of psychic protection energy. So you can add it to any spell workings for that. What have we got here? It is birch purification. This is from this one. It is purification, protection, releasing negative energy, new beginnings, courage, fertility. Got a bit of love magic in there as well, and releasing. It is a water and air element as well. So it brings those two elements together. So birch, brilliant for all sorts of things. Right, let's catch up with these. Sephora. Slowly growing a wood on our land, perfect. Starting with lots of tree lucerne with big wood pigeons love at the moment, upside down picking off the flowers. We have pigeons in our tiny little garden, bless them. Yeah, not Sephora, not a tea lady, a cauldron brewer. So we did have a little bit of thing actually last week, and I need to mention it. Someone questioned Ness and Heather and asked if they were my groupies. I'm very proud of them for not actually decking this person. Were they my groupies, and did they just make the tea and answer the phone? Which is funny because Kitchen Witch doesn't actually have an official phone, but there you go. Now, whilst Heather did make the tea, that's just, they are so much more. I wrote a blog about it, so if you want to have all the details, have a look at my blog. But let me tell you that Kitchen Witch would not run without Heather and Ness. They pretty much are Kitchen Witch. They run the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel. They run the Kitchen Witch blog. They write all of the open online rituals, and they help me run the school. You know, so much more, so much more. Good morning, Janet. Eric's downstairs. He likes sitting in his bed looking out the window when it is summer. David, envious that we missed out on the gathering. There is always next year, absolutely. Karen, love hawthorn trees. Have about 28 of them. Some I've trained into a hedge. Perfect. Made my own sticks from each tree, and my favourite cards are by Peter Prokownik and Andy Bagg. The artwork is amazing. I should have a look at those. That sounds fabulous. Hawthorn, very, very magical tree. One of the Fae. Actually, there's a podcast coming out with Halo Quinn, and we talked about hawthorn trees in that and how magical they are. I think of hawthorn more as a kind of hedgerow thing than a tree. White flowers in spring, dark red berries in the autumn, very spiky thorns. It is associated with the heart, so it works really well in all kind of love and heart magics. Not just love, romantic love, but self-love as well. It is a tree of the Fae world, fair folk. It ties in with the oak and the ash to form a triad of fairy trees. Mayday circlets, you will see, associated with the hawthorn, because it does generally flower around Mayday, although, you know, climate change, seasonal change. You can dry hawthorn berries, thread them onto string and hang them in your house to provide protection. Put them around the boundary of your house as well. You can add hawthorn berries to your floor wash, and it gives you a good purification wash for your home. Also very good for helping with forgiveness. Add them to any spell workings to help people, yourself, others, forgive. Very good for protection, very good for warding against evil and negative energy. It was another one that used to be used to protect against witches. But although apparently witches would also shapeshift into hawthorn trees. So there you go. Also quite a good one for hope, bringing hope in. So hawthorn is happiness, fertility, love, protection, purification, forgiveness, Fae world, and hope. And it is a fire element one. So nice feisty one. Julala, my witchy shed is full of sticks that have been offered by the trees. Bit of a hoarder of sticks. Actually, Heather makes us laugh because she has a stick cupboard. It's just going into my stick collection. Good morning, Tony. David, twigs are great for making into little poppets. Yes, poppets, charms, fetishes. Sticks and twigs are brilliant for that. Used fallen willow twigs for healing poppet, work perfectly. I'm not surprised. Willow is a brilliant tree for healing. I think it's also very good for anything to do with your emotions. It's such a watery energy tree, so healing and emotions, perfect for that. So willow is probably recognizable as baskets. Wicker baskets are often willow. Apparently clogs were made of willow, and cricket bats. Just, you know, that's random. Used to be made into charcoal, and apparently was even used at one time to make gunpowder. Who knew? But the young twigs, branches of willow are really flexible. They can be plaited together. They can be made into besoms for cleaning, cleansing, sweeping. They can even be made into witches' ladders, the young ones, because they are so flexible. Bendy branches, so you bring in a bit of not magic there. Willow bark can be written on. Carry willow with you, add it to incense blends to bring about inspiration. It also enhances your intuition. There's also a bit of love magic with willow as well. Put a willow twig under your pillow or under your bed to help you sleep, but to bring love to you as well. It's calming, it's soothing, it's a kind of nurturing kind of energy to it. Don't eat willow if you're allergic to aspirin. Not good. Just, not that you would eat willow, but you never know. So willow is love, protection, healing, cleansing. It brings about wishes. It helps release. It brings inspiration, and it does help with your intuition as well. And it is a big old water tree. So very much emotions, very much. Jalala. I make wands from the offerings from trees. Each has their own spirit, and how it ends up looking comes from the wood itself. Absolutely. Also just started making charms from small bits. Twigs make brilliant charms, make brilliant wands. Try not to cut anything from the tree. If you're meant to make things from it, I tend to find they have offered it already. So look on the grounds. Actually, Heather and I went for a walk around the pagan tribal field when we got there with a plan to collecting leaves and twigs to make a mandala in the tree talk. The ground was so well kept and tidy. Didn't find anything. A couple of twigs. That's all we found. Mother Nature didn't want us to do that. Good morning, Dawny. Actually never have used trees aside of spruce, pine and fir or Christmas trees. Pines, they have their own magic as well. And a tree's not just for Christmas. Pine tree, I love the scent of pine tree. It's got that real, it's got a Christmassy scent to it, but it's quite good for clearing, cleansing. It's got that fresh kind of scent to it. Very good tree scent for bringing you back to yourself, for centering, for focusing on things. Pine is also a very nice herb, plant, leaf to use for dragon magic. Pine's very good for that. It also comes with a really strong protection energy to it. It gives that kind of home and hearth, hospitality, that welcome to my home kind of energy as well. Keep pine needles in your home for abundance. They bring in prosperity. Remember that in a few months when you've got your Christmas tree. Also very good for finding the hidden things. Use it in spell working to reveal secrets, to uncover the truth. Very good for that. Another one that's good for purifying and cleansing your home, for clearing the negative energy out. Fertility as well, particularly the pine cones, very good for abundance and fertility. So pine is centering, focus, dragon magic, protection, revealing the truth, abundance, prosperity, purification, fertility. Also quite good for healing, pine as well. Very, very useful one. Jane, birch makes me think of naughty schoolboys with books down their shorts to protect them from a whacking. Yes, I believe they used to use birch, didn't they? Karen, apart from new beginnings, silver birch for me says writing, learning, and also peeling back the layers. So maybe uncovering the truth. That I can see that because of the way that the bark peels off of the tree. Perfect. Perfect. You're welcome. You're welcome, Maria. Yes, Susie, thank you. Heather was absolutely great doing the Ohm talk. And I, in front of all the people, I threw her lots of questions she wasn't expecting. And she dealt with it. Karen, some hawthorns have pink flowers at Alderley. They have a path lined with pink and white hawthorns. That does sound beautiful. That sounds amazing. Jane, loads of hawthorn in the hedgerows where I live. Pollen does me up like a kipper. Now there's an old saying that You don't hear much. Perfect, though. It looks nice. I bet it does, yeah. Jalala, we have a fairy corner in the garden that is formed by a crazy ash tree, hawthorn and hazel. They all grow together, supporting each other. In the centre of the corner is a huge fern. Magical corner indeed. That does sound amazing. Sephora, I plant memorial trees for family and friends. Very nice idea. Red witch hazel for my aunt, who always dyed her hair red and loved ours. Perfect. Would be curious as to what it is. Witch hazel. Nice old twisty twirly. I think that's in the book. Let's have a look at witch hazel. Because it's, it's got a witch in it, obviously. Witch hazel. Here we go. Protective. Good wood to use for protection. Also good for making divining rods. The rods will help you find underground sources of water and also lost items. Interesting. Next bit. Witch hazel is very good to overcome grief and find inner emotional balance. Carry witch hazel leaves with you for that. Witch hazel, protection, divining, balance, and grief. And it is a fire one. And they always look amazing, witch hazel, don't they? Because they're all twisty-turny. That sounds perfect to Sephora. Jane, hard to reconcile. Willow making gunpowder and aspirin kill or core. Yeah, two ends of the scale. Jalala, I have willow in my tea every day. Very nice. Just for anybody allergic to aspirin, don't do that. Good morning, Eve. David, have a hawthorn growing across the path in the front. Hawthorn always gives me a gentle, protective, happy vibe. I'm going to have a talk with it at some point. It's going to need to have a haircut or no one will be able to come in without being scratched to bits. That is actually one of the questions that I was asked last week. What happens if your tree is growing across a pathway or in front of a window or somewhere that you need to remove part of it? Talk to it. Everything we do as witches is about connection. Make a connection with the tree. Make a connection with the plant. Tell it the problem. Look, hawthorn, you're beautiful. You're amazing. I love how you grow, but you're growing across the pathway. So I'm going to have to take a little bit of you back. It's all for the best. And I'm going to use those bits for magic. So they won't be wasted. So just give it a bit of a chat. Make a connection with them. Now I'm reeling off all of these correspondences. But you have to make the connection to find out your own correspondences. If it's your tree on your land, then you need to make a connection with it. Find out what magic it's happy to help you with. Find out if it's happy where it is. If you have to prune it, talk to it first and tell it what you're doing and explain that it is for the best. Connection. It's all about connection. So just because I use willow for emotional things, you might find the connection with your own willow tree is different. Not that I have a huge amount of trees because my garden's very small. We do have a rowan tree, do have a little baby elder. What else have we got? We have got a holly that comes over from next door. I think that's it tree-wise. Yeah. Tiny garden, see, but there are we've got a little willow. We've got a little weeping willow tree on a dwarf stock. Dwarf stock trees are brilliant for small gardens. They use a dwarf stock trunk and they graft another tree onto it. Brilliant for small gardens. Jane, if willow grows down to the ground, you can hide in it. So I'd associate it with the occult. Interesting. See, I would associate that with secrets, but mysteries works, doesn't it? It's got to mean something to you. Got to mean something to you. Xenia, saw a shamanic masterclass yesterday and they do a lot of fire rituals. You always need small sticks and twigs for. Blow the things or people that are bothering or hurting you into the stick, set it on fire from a candle, burn it, and then take power and love back to you from the candle flame. Yep, exactly as I said with the leaves. Tell the leaves what you want. Send it to the wind or burn it or bury it. Do the same with twigs. Very, very useful for that. Xenia, pine, fir, love breathing in the scent of the forest. It is a very distinctive scent, isn't it? Pine trees, it's lovely. We had a wicker man last week and we filled him with sticks, and we put little string poppets in him as well. The flame, there was a big old dragon flame came out of him. It was fantastic. But of course, with leaves and twigs, they burn really well. So they're really good for working fire magic with. Xenia, that's the stick collection going to fire. Yeah, but they burn well. David, pine, for some reason, I feel connected to the horned one. Yeah, I can see that. No idea where I got that from, but it gets added to any horned one offerings, even in my homemade beard oil. But I bet that smells nice. That smells nice. Demetra, hello, how are you? Lovely to see you. Well, to see your little name and your face. Xenia, love the caves made by willow with branches coming to the ground. Yeah, you can do that with willow. Where it is so flexible, you can make arches with willow, young willow trees. Beautiful. Louise, good morning. Funny enough, I just picked up. Now that says beef branch. I'm assuming you mean beech. Today that have blown down. Could be beef. I don't know. Any tips for removing an elder from my allotment without upsetting it? Oh, elder's a tricky one. Elder is a tricky one. It really is. For me, elder has the, how do I politely put this? The stroppiest spirit of all the trees. The elder has a specific energy to it. The elder has an elder mother or an elder grandmother. She is a feisty old bin. And whatever you need to do to the elder, you need to clear it with her first. I work with her quite a lot when I'm head riding, and I ask her permission because it's always wise. But if you are going to try and remove elder, and it does self-seed in all sorts of places. Quite often, if you see trees growing out of concrete, it's usually the elder. Talk to the elder mother, give her an offering. You're going to have to make a peace with the elder mother first. She is, feisty old bint. But a very useful tree. It's got a lot of healing magic to it, a lot of healing energy. Story from the gods. Apparently the stem used by Prometheus to bring fire to man from the gods was an elder. Another one connected with the fairy world. For me, it's a boundary. It's a stepping stone into the other world, which is why I work with it in hedge riding. If an elder seeds itself in your garden, and they do that quite a lot, it is said that the elder mother has chosen to protect your home. You cannot cut the elder down without asking permission from her first. It is a tree of life, but it's also been associated quite often with the devil as well. So it's got a darker side to it, but then, balance, light and dark. It was feared as a witch's plant. Apparently it's another one that we were able to turn ourselves into elder trees. I haven't tried it myself, but there you go. Tree of death, rebirth and reincarnation. It has that whole cycle of life energy to it. You can apparently make dye from the bark, the root, the leaves and the berries. The berries make sense. But I think very good for healing spells on physical and emotional levels. It can also be used to break curses and to break hexes. Elder wands, elder branches, very good for driving out negative energy as well. Drinking elderberry cordial is supposed to increase your intuition. You can add elderberry cordial, elderberry tea to your bath water. It helps heal your spiritual and your emotional issues. Elder twigs and leaves put into your incense blends can be used to purify and cleanse your home, and also bring in a bit of protection as well. It is a really, really useful plant. The elder flowers smell like cat pee, but then I think the rowan flowers smell like cat pee too. So I'm just saying, elder is protection. It is healing. A fairy world tree. It is purification, intuition. releasing negative energy, hex breaking, and the whole death rebirth cycle. It is another water element tree as well. So I think that's where the emotions come into it. Thank you, Louise. Jalala. My brother visited recently and bought a thermal imaging camera. Hadn't perhaps occurred to me that different species of tree had different heat levels in their trunks. Oh, yes. Was so beautiful to see their warmth and hearts. If you are an animist like me, then you believe that all of these things have their own energy fields. They have their own spirits. That proves it. Well, it has been proved. It's been scientifically proven that trees talk to each other via their root systems. So, yeah, it's magic. Beautifully magic. Sephora, we have a walnut grove at entry of our property. Fabulous. Would be interested to see if they have a protective element. They are on one side and elderberry on the other. Elderberry needs conversation. Yeah, you've got to talk to the elder mother. She demands it. She's quite demanding. So walnut. What have we got here? Work with the energy of walnut to help increase your mental clarity and help with decision making. Sleep with a walnut under your bed to increase fertility. Bear in mind that fertility isn't just, squally baby things. It could be new four-legged fur puppies. It could be the birth of new ideas, the birth of new adventures, the birth of new projects. Fertility is all things, not just babies. Don't need any of those. Use walnut shells as holders. Now, I've done this and it works really well. You write your wish on a small 20 piece of paper, roll it up and put it inside the walnut shell. Then you can tie it together or tape it together. Elastic band works well. Bury it or burn it. The big nut shells work really well for that. Walnuts in particular. So walnut is wishes, mental powers, clarity, and fertility, but it is ruled by the sun and it is a fire element. So it would, I would say it would definitely have that protection energy with it. Maria, I have hawthorn growing near me. Drives my neighbour batty as it keeps falling and blocking her drain. Yeah, that would be a little bit annoying, wouldn't it? Jane, there's something magical about pine wood smoke in alpine areas. Sometimes we get a hint of it at home when someone's burning pine. Always reminds me of my failed attempts at skiing. I did that a long time ago when I was young and flexible. Jane, Elder is known as the old gown. She doesn't like being messed with. No, she doesn't. There is a definite, and every tree has a spirit. Every tree has their energy. Every tree will have a dryad associated with it. But Elder has this very specific, old crone, feisty, not standing any nonsense energy attached to it. It is quite unique. Mark, some pruned off material could be used as cuttings. Absolutely. You could propagate more plants from the prunings. Lovely way to continue the energy of the tree. Absolutely. And please, when you're pruning, make sure that your pruning shears, snips, secateurs, whatever you use, are clean, and do cut the tree properly. If you badly prune a tree, or if you rip a branch off of it, it'll damage the tree. And it can get infected. You have to be really, really careful when you're pruning trees. Don't just swing on the branch and pull it off or yank it off, because you are going to damage the tree. Just be mindful of doing it properly so that you don't damage the tree or get infection in. Vector odor. All parts of elder are great for coughs and congestions, etc. There are lots and lots of medical uses for all plants and trees. Please, disclaimer, seek advice from a trained, qualified herbalist before you take any of these herbal remedies. So many of them argue with over-the-counter medicines or with underlying health problems. So do check first. Julala, long story short, there is an elder here who I thought was giving me trouble when I moved here. Turned out she was protecting me from an open portal. She broke and closed the portal, and the energy there is completely different now. Yes, I mean, I'm saying she's a feisty old bin and you've got to be polite. And but she's there to help you. She's there to support you if you make that connection with her. Again, connection. Make a connection with the spirits of all the trees and plants in your garden, and they will do things in return. They will look after you. Give them offerings, look after them, water them, feed them. It's a good relationship. Jane makes lovely port too. It's always good. Always good. Louise, I know. I've been thinking I ought to remove her for 5 years. I do make lots of use of her and plan to take lots of cuttings. Hopefully they take, yes, beech. Beech, not beer. Beef. Oh, words. Right, let's have a look at beech. They are beautiful trees, particularly in the autumn, because they're the ones that turn that lovely coppery colour. They have little flowers, tiny flowers in the spring. And in the autumn, of course, they have beech nuts. Carry a piece of beech with you or burn it as incense. It will help your creativity. Use in sachet powders, spell pouches to make wishes. Write your wish on a beech leaf or a small piece of beech wood twig. Burn it, bury it to set that intent in motion. They make beautiful rune sets. They make good divining rods. So they've got a very strong connection to divination, seeing the future, readings, etc. Also really good to help you with your spirituality. Very good connection to the divine as well from the beech tree. Brings luck, brings success. Apparently, if you pop some powdered beech into your right shoe, it brings luck, good luck to you. Why the right shoe? Why powdered? I have no idea, but that's what folklore says. Very good actually for carving and writing on beech bark. Do not peel it off. Just see if you get offered some. So beech is very good for wishes, creativity, spirituality, divination, luck, and success. And it is 2 elements. It's air and earth. So it brings those 2 elements together. Very useful tree. And very pretty in the autumn. Maria. I knew I was nuts being a fire sign. I'm water and I'm still nuts. All right. David. Get a doctor's stethoscope, put it up to the tree and hear the sap rushing through like blood. I have never done that. That's fascinating. We're all going to rush out and buy stethoscopes now. That's fabulous. Yeah, Jane, try listening to different tree trunks. This time of the year, you can hear the sap sloshing about there. You two are thinking on the same lines and a tock-tock heartbeat. But the sap is the bloodline of the tree, isn't it? It works exactly as our blood does. When the wind's blowing the branches above, it's like being back in time on a galleon. If you can find something wobbly to stand on, a log, it's even better. That's your challenge, everyone. Listening to tree sap. That's your challenge for the weekend. This is a 4-up mulberry. We have several and they have a beautiful weeping habit and the chooks love them. Very generous tree, food, shelter, shade. I've not worked with mulberry, but I think you've kind of described all of the magical properties there. The weeping habit would lead me to think emotions. I love chooks. Brilliant. Very generous, so generosity. Providing food, shelter, shade. I think you've just described all the magical properties. For me, this is a big part of it. I mean, if you want to buy the book, Pete tells me off if I don't promote the books. Brilliant. If you want to look up the meanings, the references online, brilliant. But make that connection yourself. Ask the tree when you approach it if you can make a connection with it. Put your hand out and touch the trunk. If you feel the tree's not having any of it, then walk away because you're not going to get anything for it. You're just going to upset the tree. Most of them are pretty open. I do think trees have a different energy to plants. The bedding plants we've got in the garden at the moment, busy, chattery. Their lives are quite short because they're there for the summer and that's it. They are quick and busy. The herbaceous perennials, the shrubs, they're all pretty laid back, just chilling, doing what they need to do. Trees are just I want to say slow, but not, I don't mean that as an insult to them. They are ancient. They are taking things at their own pace. They don't suffer fools. They're not interested really in anything very much. They're doing the thing. It's quite a different energy, but it is important to connect with that energy to find out what that particular tree means to you. You have to make that connection to know that the leaves or the twigs or whatever it's offered you are going to work in your magic for a specific reason. You need to connect with that tree or that leaf or that twig to find out what it can help you with. That, I think, is really important. Karen, we prune our elder every year and she comes back with the most amazing flowers and berries more and more each year. Rule of gardening. A lot of stuff does need pruning, cutting back to help it flower and fruit. Check the particular species of tree, shrub, whatever it is. The RHS website is really good for that, to find out what it needs and just explain to it that you are doing it for its own benefit. Because there's a particular beech tree in a wood near me that I always stop and hug when I'm out on my runs. Perfect. Perfect. Jalala, I feel like alder from family units. They often grow in 3s and 4s and more trunks entwined together. We have familial groups of elder here, from small family groups to 3 entwined sisters to 100 feet tall, 3 old brothers together. Love it. Love that idea that they're families. That's perfect. Maria, there was a program with Judi Dench. There was, with a tree expert who used equipment to listen to the trees in her garden. You can hear the vibrations and sloshing of them. Fascinating. There has been scientific evidence that they do all talk to each other. Jane, in the garden hierarchy, I see trees as the guardians, matriarchs and patriarchs, ancestors and wise ones. Yep, I would go with that. I would go with that, absolutely. Jalala, and I love how alder roots flow through the river like fluffy fingers bathing in the water. That's very poetic. Very poetic. Now, 2 different trees, don't forget, there are 2 different trees. One is the alder, A-L-D-E-R. One is the elder, E-L-D-E-R. Elderflower, elderberries. Alder is a type of tree as well. Just it gets a bit confusing sometimes. Apple trees are beautiful. Oh, linked to love, eternity, and rebirth. A lot of folklore attached to them and linked to the Avalon Isle of Apples. Yes. I have an apple wand made from a branch of an apple tree that I created into a silver branch with bells on it for my Avalon work, because Avalon and apples connect so well. They're beautiful. That apple is in there. But it's very, very good, I think, as well for any kind of love magic, not just of the romantic type, but anything to do with self-love as well. It's not in that one, it's in that one, it's in the food one, because apple's food. Right, brain, come back. Almonds. Almonds are a tree too. Oh, lots of fruit trees. Yeah, look, all of the fruits are trees, aren't they? So apples, especially linked, of course, with the autumn equinox and Samhain. So that darker half of the year. Love spell workings, also for healing. Apple is also a portal to the other realms, to the other world, hence the Avalon connection. Good for clarity, good for knowledge, also very good for abundance. Apple's considered to be the food of the dead, so the apple tree is brilliant for any kind of spirit work. And of course, apple pie, because who wouldn't want apple pie, really? Love, healing, clarity, knowledge, abundance, spirit work. And the apple is another water element one. Very magical tree. Demia. We have a lots of maple, cottonwood, and oak where I live. We only have 2 in our yard and they don't seem happy to me. Connect with them and ask them what the problem is. Connect with their energies and see if there is something that you can do to help them. If you make that connection, I'm sure they'll be able to tell you what the issue is. And oak, of course, one of the most magical trees, particularly in Druidry. It is strength. They are incredibly tall. They live for thousands of years. It is wisdom, knowledge, acorns, of course, new beginnings, growth. They were meeting places. People used to meet at oak trees where laws were passed and big declarations were made, sacred to the Druids. Oak leaf is a symbol of strength. Apparently, we used to have them on coins as well, before the lion appeared on English coins. Acorn is a symbol of strength, of power, of vitality. And of course, holly rules the first half of the year, and then oak rules the second half of the year. King Arthur's Round Table was supposedly made from oak, and it has been used to build houses, cathedrals, ships, furniture. Our front door is built with oak. Very, very useful. All sorts of stories and legends. It sheltered Robin Hood, Charles II, all sorts of folklore attached to that oak. It is prosperity. It is cleansing as well. It is healing, health, protection, money, prosperity, fertility. It brings good luck, strength, vitality, power. It is a fire and water element tree. So very, very magical, very, very useful. Oh, bless. When the number came out, the PTG raffle chose the Dragon Book. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. Good morning, David. I've already said a big thank you to you, and I'm going to do it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your help in putting up a tent. And congratulations on your hand fasting. We were very honoured to be invited to a hand fasting at Pagan Tribal as well. And you made me cry. It was an absolute honour. Jane, alder produces those cute little black cones that make great Yule deckies if you add a bit of frost. Good for making table centres with candles too. I don't really work with alder very much. It's not a tree. I don't think we've got any near us. That's probably why. I'm not even sure it's in here. Let's have a look. No. So that's one you're going to have to work out yourselves. Kez, the lime linden trees are full of flower at the moment and they smell divine. Yes, beautiful, beautiful trees. Good morning, Hannah. Love trees. I have apple, pear, cherry, bay, birch and maple in my garden. I'd like to get an elder next. That sounds like a very good collection. Very good. Sephora, we planted alders in a grove due to their single strong deep root. Makes them very strong, withstand wind, handle dry and wet, and I love their seeds as well. Strength, grounding, stability. Perfect. Perfect. Karen, I have an old apple tree in the middle of my sacred space in the garden. Lovely for meditating under. Perfect. That's Maria's month tree. Well, of course, the Ogham is symbols describing trees. Each one has a different name of a tree. If the tree is, Maria's mentioned the month tree. There is a Celtic tree calendar. It is not ancient. It really isn't ancient. It's very, very modern. But it's quite an interesting calendar to work with. If you want to work with a different tree each few weeks, there's more than the months. It's quite interesting to do, and all their different properties. Here we go, Jane. There are acorns on old sixpences. Yes, there are. I have an old sixpence. Maria, always wary of picking anything to ingest. I had a mint plant I bought, washed it, and I made a warm drink with it, and it upset. No, I'm surprised about mint. Mint's usually quite good for your stomach, but it's individual people. Individual people, our bodies are all different. So yes, it's always very wise to check first. Jalala, having the river running through our garden, we have loads of alder, elder, and willow. Alder are a portal tree. That's a lot of watery element energy there. Perfect. David, have an apple branch staff for my partner. Need to finish making it. Yeah, come on, get on with it, David. Which reminds me, Dark Moon, feel it's time to finish my stang. Oh, nice. I have got stang. There we go. So I've got an oak staff, actually, with oak leaves carved on it. That's my stang. Very, very good for otherworld journeys. Very good for the horned god masculine energy. I use the stang when I am working in ritual. Perfect for it. What are the trees that have purple leaves? Is it birch? No, birch doesn't have purple leaves. I'm not sure. That's a question for someone. What are the trees that have purple leaves? I know the burgundy type leaves, aren't they? It's not a birch. Come on, people. Let's have the answer to that one. Hannah, alders are stronger when submerged. Venice is built on alder, I think. Okay. That's a real foundation type of tree, isn't it? That's a real stability, lifting you up, supporting you type of energy. Jane, never pick plants from low down corners if you plan to eat or drink them. Yeah, cats. Yeah, that's not good. Never have velvet tablecloths on your tables in a tent at a festival that has dogs. I think we had 3 dogs pee on the corner of the tablecloth. That's just something to bear in mind. Copper Beach. Karen thinks it's Copper Beach. I think you might be right there, Karen. Yes, I think you might be right there. Sephora, we have a shelter belt of Japanese cedar. Very nice. It's evergreen. Has the worst tree sex. But we harvest for firewood and can burn pruning green. Definitely a dragon tree. Goes up like a rocket, even green. Very powerful kind of fire magic in there. Yes. Guten Morgen, Ghoul. Guten Morgen. Germany has beautiful trees. Yes. And the Black Forest. Yeah. Germany has beautiful trees and forests. They are magical. Communication is interesting with them. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I think the tree you're thinking of, Maria, with the purple leaves is Purple Beech. Maria, saw massive red trees at Kew last week. They're beautiful. Kew has some amazing trees. Jane, we have a Cotinus. Yes, smoke tree in our front garden. Leaves are burgundy colour, and in autumn they go beautifully spotty and stripy. And a smoke tree. So when the flowers come out, it looks like billowy puffs of smoke. Fabulous tree. Fabulous tree. So they are loads. They've all got their own individual personalities. They all have their own energies to them. So it is about making that connection yourself to find out what energies they can help you with. And it is about using the gifts, the twigs, the leaves, the nuts, the seeds, the flowers, all of it, the bark. It's all got magical use. And it brings such a strong, powerful energy. It is quite a different energy to plants, but it is very, very magical. And without trees, we'd be a bit stuffed, really, wouldn't we? Let's face it. They do so much for the earth. We need to look after them. And even if you have a tiny garden like me, there are trees that you can have. We have a rowan, as I say, and it's not too big, and it's never going to grow too big. So even if you have a tiny garden, do look for trees that you can plant. We have a little willow on dwarf stalks in a pot. So there are things that you can do to have trees in your garden, even if it's small. Most cities will have a few trees. We've got all on the main road past down beside us. They have trees. And along the very big main road, they have cherry trees that all come into blossom in the spring, which are beautiful. Sephora has a Pohutukawa. Pohutukawa. That's a fabulous name. It's our Christmas tree here. fiery red flowers at Christmas, strong, twisty. That sounds amazing. Hannah, patio fruit trees. Yes, you can get fruit trees on dwarf stock. If you've got a small garden, dwarf stock is your saviour. You can get all types of fruit trees on dwarf stocks that can even be grown in pots. So brilliant. Yeah, I love trees. I think we all do. They are necessary to keep us alive, but they have so much powerful magic to them. So go and make friends with the tree. That's your challenge for the weekend. Make friends with a tree and see what magic it can help you with. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all following me over to Friday. We will be continuing on a Friday now for the foreseeable future. So next Friday morning, I will catch you all again. Enjoy your tree hugging. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.